Hi guys, Mike in the woods here. It is hot as balls outside right now. It's summertime, which means it's time for an annual updated look at everything that's in my bug out bag. Before we get started, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, hit the like button if you find this interesting, leave any questions you have down below, and let's get started. So before I dig in, just a few notes. First one, if you've watched my previous bug out bag teardowns, you'll see that obviously I've changed my bag yet again. This one's a bit bigger than the Condor Compact Assault, but smaller than the big old green one that I was using the first time around. And same as last time, my bug out bag is to be used in combination with my everyday carry bag. So if there's anything missing out of the bug out bag, watch my everyday carry teardown video to make sure that whatever you think might be missing is not in that. And I'll link that right there. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. So starting off with what's on the outside of the pack, I've got my washcloth kind of tied around the carabiner there because it was wet. I had to give it a good old cleaning. And then on either side, you'll see I got 2 bottles of water if it wants to let go. 2 Gatorade bottles full of water. I've already started drinking them because, like I said, it's very warm outside right now. We'll start with what's in the small front pouches. So I have nothing in the very front pouch, but in the second pouch here, I've got some N95 masks, which are very important given our current health situation. Up at the top here, I have all my reference material and documentation. So I've got a pocket mini SAS survival guide. So I have a small physical reference for anything I could possibly need in a survival situation. It's a little bit heavy, but it's good reference. I've got a map of Ontario, which is where I reside. As I mentioned in a previous video on 5 things I carry in my bug out bag that are 3D printed, I've got these little guys, which are just a set of survival snap cards that have a variety of 3D printed tools on it. So I got a cutlery set, I've got a fishing set, this one is my redesigned one, and some arrowheads. So these are in here on a trial basis. I'm not sure how they're going to last long term, but I have them in here to give them a test out. Up top, I've got my my fire making kit, which is just a packed down lot of matches and dryer lint, so I can start a fire with that several times. I've got a puck light, so it's got a solar panel on the top, so it charges during the day, flashlight on the bottom, and it actually comes out into an accordion style light so you can illuminate your tent or anything else at night. And it compacts down, and then you can just use it as a flashlight if you need it on the go. Okay, getting into the main big pouch. I've got my Katadyn BeFree. This keeps fluctuating between my actual camping kit and my bug out bag. I need a separate one, so I have one in each. But essentially, if I run out of the water in the 2 Gatorade bottles there, this lets me collect more water from pretty much any water source and filter it on the go. And because it's so small and compact and lightweight, like this packs down into nothing. Like I can fit this in my fist. It's so small and light. I've got my 3D printed sling bow, which you've already seen in previous videos. I made a dedicated video on it. It's got the removable arrow guide, the yoke, so I could switch between steel shot, pebbles, and an actual arrow. Speaking of the arrow, there is an arrow that's supposed to go with this bag. However, I did not take it out with me because I'm filming this in a conservation area, and it would look pretty suspect if a dude was walking around with an arrow sticking out of his bag. So that's back in the car. Got my mess kit, which is a ridiculously big one. Let's tear it down and see what we got in here. Alright, so I got my spork, my backup spork. Got my main cooking pot. I've got my other kind of frying pan pot type thing. This is, it's both an alcohol burner and a stick burner. So what you do to cook on it with a stick burner is you put the bottom on like that. And there's a little metal insert that goes in the top, and then sit in there properly. And it just sits in there like that. And you load in sticks in the front, and then you can cook on the go if you can't otherwise get a full campfire going. Also in here, I've got the 3 pieces for my figure 4 deadfall trap. So essentially, much like any figure 4 deadfall trap, pretty much set it up like that, put something heavy on the top, and the idea is it holds its position until something grabs food off the end, nudges it, and then the whole thing collapses down, and a rock or a big log or something falls on whatever it is you're trying to catch. So again, as with the other 3D printed stuff, this is only in here for evaluation purposes. It's very lightweight, fits into like no space whatsoever. I'm not very comfortable making them out of sticks yet, which is why it's like a Fisher Price my first figure 4 deadfall trap, pretty much. That's it for the main pouch. Going into the second rearmost pouch. So in here, I've got a full change of clothes, so pants, boxers, socks, t-shirt. I've got enough food for 3 days. Could probably last me more if I stretched it out, but I have 3 full self-contained MREs in Ziploc bags. I've also got my shelter materials in here. One just really big space blanket style tarp sheet type thing, so I can fold it up into a A-frame. Also in here, I've got a space blanket as extra insulation. And in the rearmost section, last but certainly not least, I have my big old brown wool blanket. And one thing I forgot to mention while I was doing my teardown was that I actually also keep in my bag a can of bear spray for defense against foes, both 4-legged and 2-legged. So that's it for what's in my bug out bag. Like I said, what you don't see in there is in my everyday carry bag, so be sure to check that out for all the contents that we're missing out of the bug out bag. The 2 of them kind of form together to form my bug out solution. I'm trying to be modular in my bag design approach, so my EDC bag with my bug out bag forms my bug out, and eventually I want to build towards having an inch bag, which stands for I'm never coming home bag, which builds on having the EDC and the bug out bag in combination with the rest of the stuff that's in the inch bag.
Never coming home bag.
You've never heard of it?
No. I just flew into your statement there. I'm like, oh, geez. Guess I'm single.
Well, it would be for the both of us.
No.
If we ever had to evacuate and never had the possibility of coming home, that's what it's for. Well, that's everything that's in my bug out bag. If you're new to the channel, I study the intersection of fun, futuristic technology with traditional outdoors experiences, so check out my other videos and consider subscribing if that's your thing. Hit the like button if you found this video informative or helpful in any way, and if you have any questions or even suggestions on how I can improve my bug out bag, please leave them down below. If you want to help out the channel, I have a variety of links down below in the description, including a link to my outdoors 3D print shop where I sell a variety of 3D prints and paracord items in the outdoors and everyday carry niches. I have a special promo code for all of my YouTube viewers. Use shameless plug to get 20% off your order on checkout. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you next video.